Hi, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina K Designs. Today I have a new video for you with my newest set from Gina K Designs, Twine Time. And I'm going to be using a lot of the different elements and two-step elements to create this card and just give you a lot of tips and tricks for how you can use these different little images to embellish any stamping project you have. Very minimal supplies for today's project. We're going to be using the Twine Time set. Got some different blocks here. You don't need this many, but I just have a bunch pulled aside so that I'm not switching the blocks as often and getting my fingers inky. But any kind of blocks will do. And then I have a long one for stamping the long piece of twine. I've got the Gina K Peach Bellini, Ocean Mist, the Black Onyx, and the Dusty Rose, the Moonlit Fog, and then I have a Spectrum Noir BG3 alcohol marker for drawing a shadow. And you don't have to use this many ink pads, but I just wanted to show a lot of the different colors that I hadn't already used in my videos and on my samples from the release party to show you what these different twines look like and the different inks. Just really fun. And then the cardstock that we're going to be using today, I've got a piece of Gina K Pure Luxury White, Black Onyx, and then I'm also going to be using Peach Bellini for my card base. And then you're just going to need some adhesive. My adhesive just ran out, so I'm not layering it today, but this is what it's going to look like. And then we've got some sticky notes for doing some masking with that long piece of thread. This is a nice trick for when you are doing the eyelets, but if you just want to cover both sides with a piece of scratch paper, you can do that. So let's begin. I'm going to leave this right here so you can see where we're going and kind of a reference for me. But I'm going to start with my mat. And I want to first stamp out this loop-de-loop border. And I love stamping with this because it makes me feel like I am piping icing onto a cake and doing it very well. So I'm going to take this little loop that's in the set. And you want to make sure with all these small elements you have them centered on the block so that it's not going to wobble on you. And it just makes it a lot easier when you're holding it. And then I find it's easier to go across than trying to stamp up like that. So we're going to go this way. I'm going to use the Peach Bellini ink, and I'm going to start in the middle. Okay, and then I'm just going to hold this down just at the corner and re-ink each time and just put the little edge of that loop up next to the end of the thread. And I find it easier, perhaps it's because I'm right-handed, but I find it easier to work from left to right, but you may find that you like going right to left. But I start in the middle just because I want the loop to end at about the same place on either side. So now I'll show you that you can also, because you have these clear stamps, work your way backwards. Okay, now I want to put this threaded twine border with the eyelets on the other side. So instead of stamping the eyelets first and trying to make sure that they're going straight, I'm going to stamp the twine first and then add my eyelets at the end. So you can make this at any length that you want, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take 2 sticky notes and turn it this way. And I like how with the sticky notes you can actually see how much of your cardstock is underneath. So I'm going to go in a little bit more than 1/4 inch on each side and do the same over here. Okay, and then I'm going to place the long piece of twine onto my block. And I purposely drew this just slightly less than straight so that it looks like a real piece of twine rather than some graphic border. Okay, and I'm just going to go across right here. Okay, and then you're going to lift these off, and then here is my little eyelet, so it's open at each end, and that's where you insert the twine. And I'm going to use the smallest block that I have. And I like the Moonlit Fog on these because it looks a lot like silver. But if you want to emboss these, you can. So you're just going to place this just right over where it looks like the end of the twine is coming into the inside of that circle hole. Okay, and then we'll do the same on either side. And I have some really fun videos planned coming up with just some different eyelet designs, lots of threaded eyelets. I think it looks really cool. Love the look, but I just don't always like to get my eyelets out and have to set them. Okay, so now we're going to turn it this way. You could also do this layout like this, but I'm doing mine like this. I'm going to do, let's see, the Happy next. And I'm going to do this one in the Ocean Mist ink. And this is a color combination I just saw online because I was feeling like peach today. So if you want it to be a little bit more subtle, you can use the Ocean Mist. If you want it to pop a little bit more, you might want to use a Turquoise Sea just for kind of a brighter blue. Okay. I got just a little thread from the felt pad in there. I was able to wipe it away carefully. And then I'm going to take the black Onyx ink and stamp on this Birthday to You below, because I just really want that part to pop. And then I have my black mat that I'm using, so that's going to pull out the second part of that greeting. Okay. And then I am going to do my flowers. So I'm going to start by stamping on the flowers first, and then I'll add my stems. So we've got a large and a small flower in here. So I'm going to do the bigger one first, up here. And then I'm going to do the smaller one. And instead of just keeping with the pink, or the peach, excuse me, decided to use the Dusty Rose just to have one element pop out a little bit more. Kind of change it up. Put that one right here. And then I've included both buttons and coiled pieces of twine elements in the set. So you can use the larger one, the smaller one, excuse me, that one's the larger one, that one's the smaller one, and then all these different buttons. So I'm going to do one button, and then on the other one I'm going to show you what the coil looks like. So use this gray button. This is a different one than I used on the card. That one has a little rim, so this one's just a solid plain button. Okay, fits right in there. And then I'm going to use this larger coil of twine in the Ocean Mist flower. Okay, and then I just wanted to do something a little bit different. I love how gray looks with peach. So I decided to, instead of switching to green, that I was just going to do some Moonlit fog stems, and that's going to kind of tie in those eyelets that I did there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to curve my stem. Okay, and you actually, sorry, think about it going backwards. Okay. So first I'm going to do this one, just touching that. And then I'm going to make this one a little more gentle, so I'm going to pull it away. Just kind of change the curve of it a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to use this little piece that can be a leaf, but it can also be a little loop for a tag. I'll show you that in another video. But these can go either way, as if the pointy end out or pointy end in. So I'm going to do one like it's coming out, like a rounded leaf. And then on the other, I'm going to do the round side in so it looks like a pointed leaf. Okay, and that's all the stamping I'm going to do. Now this is really going to make the card come to life by adding that marker. You can just leave it just like that, but this is really going to make your twine look dimensional. So I'm going to take my BG3 marker, and I'm going to use the bullet tip. And I'm going to do my shadows today as if the light is coming from the left instead of the right, just to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to go underneath all these loops. And it's really worth taking the time to do this. And I love it because it's just tracing. So it's kind of meditative the way coloring might be for some of you. Just under, under, under. And then just the tiniest bit here. I just love that border. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to go underneath the eyelet. And I'm going to put just the tiniest little shadow trace along that edge here. Okay, then let's do our stems. And our leaves. So we're going on the underside of the leaves and then under those loops. Okay, then we're going to go under and then on the inside under and then under that button. And there's just a little more stamping. I forgot to add the stitch to the center of the button. So some have a double stitch and some just have one stitch. So I will grab that as soon as I am done with tracing this happy. So go and just under all the letters. And then off to the right. And then inside each of those loops. Okay, and then let me just grab that one last little stitch. So there's a single stitch in here. So you can use it to just thread the little button, or if you want to, and you can use a different color here if you really want that to pop, but I'm just going to stick with the dusty rose. And then you're just going to pop that right in the middle. And that's all we're going to do. And then you're just going to layer this onto the black. And if you want, if you have a 1/8 inch hole punch or a crocodile, you can punch that out so that you're seeing the layer underneath for added realism. And then I would just layer this onto the peach Bellini cardstock. And your card is complete. I also want to show you just how you can get a different look. If you're wanting a more subtle look, this is how it would look on the ocean mist. So whatever card base or card base color that you're using, that is really going to emphasize, it's going to take your eye to those ocean mist elements. But I just really liked how this looked on the peach Bellini. I hope you enjoyed this video today. This set and all of our products right now are available at 25% off if you use the code SAVE25 at checkout. This is a special that is only going on through December 31st, 2015. So if you're watching this after that date, it will not be available at 25% off, but it is still available in our Gina K Design store. So please visit us there and at Stamp TV and my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, for more ideas and inspiration using all of our products and stamp sets. Thank you for watching today. God bless. Happy New Year.